Alright, let's do In the Pines. Let's move on to the key of E. And here we go. So, metronome just kind of set it 100 there. And here we go. So this is a very bluesy tune out of the key of E. And so we start out with a In the Pines. So it's a G sharp with a little slide down. And I'm playing it against the B. It can be just alone though. Okay, but I'm doing G sharp against the B, F sharp against the B, E against the B. Okay? In pines. So you jump up, you just run up the arpeggio basically to the next octave, E. So we're going to go G sharp, little upward slide, B, E with the double, and then here you can go by the flattened 7 of an E chord, so the 7th note in an E major scale would be a D sharp, and so you flatten that by half step, and that's going to be kind of your bluesy 7th note. So we're going to go so that's a slide down from a D to a C sharp, or so D, B, C sharp, and then B, C sharp, B, G sharp, slide down to an A. So that all together would be. And so that's the same kind of lick that started the tune. Slide down from G sharp to an E. And then you can milk this 7th, flattened 7th, after you jump up to an octave from the E note to the E note. So and then so slide up into that. So in the so you can do another little upward slide there from the D up to that D sharp. So it'd be like and just mirror that slide on the D string with your slide up just a little bit to actually catch that B or the D sharp, since you're in a B chord, B major. Down to the B note, and then come over here and catch this G sharp. slide up into it and down to the E. You can do that, or that's a fun lick too. Instead of going to the D sharp note, just go up and play an E. That's not in you basically start playing out of E before you get to the E chord at the end of the tune. But it gives a little bit of dissonance that's nicely resolved once the E chord comes around. So you could go, so the second half is E, slide that B back, and then you don't have to play an A note there, just jump straight over to your G sharp with a little slide up and back to the E. And I was also getting the fifth off on that B. That's a like that. Now this, and then you just repeat. You can just repeat that line exactly if you want. But this is a great chance to experiment with using the bluesy notes out of the key of E. And so let's do one more break and we'll just talk through one with some variations here, okay? Let's see. So we'll just start the same. Well, you can also do that. So there's something as simple as starting on an E, and to give just a little, just dun, dun, just before the downbeat, so kind of an offbeat lick on the E. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. So we could do that. We could go. So that's something you could do, a little walk down lick. So it's a G sharp or a G sharp against an E. And then pull that E back to a D note, but leave this G sharp down. So and then you can also go back and throw in this D note when the melody might not play it. It might be playing like a C sharp or a B, but just this little accent note. And this is what I mean. So like this. Slide down. Sun never shines, right? But you could, and that melody would be, right? But watch this. You can go, just wail, and it adds a little gritty wail in there that is nice and bluesy. And you can even double up with a D against an A. And here's a B against an F sharp. So we're really only out of an E major chord. We're only really playing one note there in that little sequence, and that's the B note. That is at least, part of the E major arpeggio. But we're going. Or actually, that's an A chord over that. And so we're not actually playing any of the notes except for maybe this D that's coupled up on this A here, but it doesn't even sound like it's an A, really. And so that's a D on an A, so you got an A note there, but then this note is a B against an F sharp, and then you go back into the E chord, but so that's a little trick in that you, at the end of a particular chord, like the last two notes or so in some of these bluesy tunes, you forget about what chord you're in a way, and just play out of the next chord coming up. So it would be like a D, and so although you're still in A, still in A, and now here you go back to E. But what was that lick? It was a B and a D. That's not an A. That's not an A major. You know, that's A major 7 with a G. That's not in there, right? And so what are we doing? We're basically just already playing in the E major chord and just using the flat and seventh there from our E dominant arpeggio. Right? We're using that D and just not caring that that's in the A, but we are using our ears to say that although it's not there, our ears have to teach our brain to get away from just playing exactly what notes are in a particular chord, because that's not how it's done. That's just not how the blues works. And if you want to sound authentic, you gotta let your ears guide in that case. Okay. That's another thing you can do. Work on, basically they're just little hammer-ons, like a really quick, 32-second run or something. It's just a... Okay? It can be a D note here, or D7, or D sharp. But you're wanting to get up this E note on that second half of the break. Like that. And so you can practice as long as you know your E scale. Right? That's just this part of it, basically as quick as you can. And that little is a super important lick in bluegrass. And whenever you're playing bluesy tunes like this, that thing where you catch the fifth. So whenever you're at the end of the tune, when you're in a 5 chord, in this case a B major chord, you really milk that B against the F sharp. And then the G sharp. Okay, and then land on that E. Alright. Well, that's a lot for In the Pines, but it's really a pretty tune. It's actually, with just a little bit of modification of, the E major scale, using slides and the fifths, you can start to really sound really authentic and cool pretty quickly. So I hope that's helpful. See ya.